The divine Pharaoh. What made ordinary people willingly give everything, their labor, their lives, to a single ruler? The answer has nothing to do with power. It's something far older. In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh was believed to be more than a human ruler. He was considered the living embodiment of Horus and the chosen son of Ra, giving his authority a sacred foundation. This divine status helped maintain unity across the kingdom because loyalty to the king was seen as loyalty to cosmic order itself. Priests, officials, and common people all reinforced this belief through rituals and temple ceremonies. The concept of divine kingship also justified the vast resources devoted to royal tombs and monuments, ensuring the pharaoh's power continued even after death in the Egyptian view of eternity. The warrior pharaoh. He didn't just send armies, he led them. But the real reason these pharaohs went to war had less to do with conquest and more to do with something happening back home. Some Egyptian rulers became known primarily for their military strength and aggressive expansion. These warrior pharaohs personally led campaigns into Nubia, Libya, and the Levant, bringing back wealth, tribute, and prisoners who strengthened Egypt's economy. Their reigns often focused on fortifying borders and projecting dominance beyond the Nile Valley. Temple walls frequently depicted these kings in dramatic battle scenes, emphasizing their role as protectors of order against chaos. Famous example, Ramesses II, whose long reign included major conflicts and large-scale building projects that celebrated his military reputation across Egypt. The builder pharaohs, thousands of workers, decades of construction, structures that outlasted every empire that came after. What were these pharaohs actually trying to build, and for whom? Many pharaohs sought immortality through architecture, turning Egypt into a landscape of stone monuments. Builder pharaohs invested enormous resources into pyramids, mortuary temples, obelisks, and grand sanctuaries dedicated to the gods. These projects were not only religious offerings, but also powerful political statements that displayed wealth, stability, and divine favor. Construction programs provided employment for thousands of workers and strengthened central control over the country. Through building, these rulers ensured their names would survive for millennia, carved permanently into the desert and the cultural memory of ancient Egypt. The child pharaoh. A child on the most powerful throne in the ancient world. It sounds like a recipe for disaster, and sometimes it was. But occasionally, it changed everything. At several moments in Egyptian history, the throne passed to very young rulers who were not yet able to govern independently. These child pharaohs usually ruled under the guidance of powerful regents, advisors, or royal relatives who handled daily state affairs. Despite their limited personal authority, their reigns could still shape history, especially when court politics were unstable. The youth of the king sometimes created opportunities for rival factions to compete for influence. Famous example, Tutankhamun, who became king as a boy and is remembered today largely because his tomb was discovered almost completely intact. The female pharaoh. She ruled one of the greatest civilizations on Earth. Then someone tried to erase her from history entirely. Why? And how did she survive it anyway? Although kingship in Egypt was typically male, a small number of women successfully ruled as full pharaohs. These female rulers adopted traditional royal titles and often appeared in art wearing male symbols of kingship to strengthen their legitimacy. Their reigns demonstrate the flexibility of Egyptian political and religious systems when royal succession demanded it. Famous example, Hatshepsut, who governed during a long period of stability and economic growth. Her extensive building projects and successful trade expeditions helped secure her place among Egypt's most capable rulers, despite later attempts to erase her memory. The heretic pharaoh. He scrapped thousands of years of religion overnight. His own people turned against him, And the moment he died, Egypt acted like he never existed. What drove a pharaoh to risk everything? In rare cases, a pharaoh attempted to overturn Egypt's deeply rooted religious traditions. These rulers introduced radical changes that disturbed powerful priesthoods and confused the general population. However, after his death, Egypt quickly returned to its older beliefs. His reign remains one of the most unusual and controversial episodes in the long history of pharaonic rule. Famous example: Akhenaten, who promoted exclusive worship of the sun disk Aten, reduced the importance of the traditional gods and even moved the royal capital to a newly built city to support his religious revolution. The founder pharaoh. Before him, there was no Egypt, not as we know it. One ruler, one decision, a civilization that lasted 3,000 years. How does a single person build something that big? At key turning points, certain rulers established new dynasties or unified previously divided regions of Egypt. These founder pharaohs played a crucial role in shaping the political structure that later kings inherited. Their achievements were remembered for centuries and often became part of royal tradition and myth. Famous example: Narmer, who is widely credited with uniting Upper and Lower Egypt into a single kingdom, laying the foundation for the long continuity of ancient Egyptian civilization and creating the model of centralized kingship that all later pharaohs followed. The last pharaoh. She knew the empire was ending. She had one move left. And the choice she made in those final years is still debated by historians, because no one can agree if she lost or if she played it perfectly. In the final phase of ancient Egyptian history, the monarchy faced growing foreign pressure and internal political weakness. The last pharaohs ruled during a time when powerful empires, especially Rome, were expanding into the eastern Mediterranean. These rulers often had to rely on diplomacy, alliances, and careful political maneuvering to maintain independence. Famous example: Cleopatra VII, whose reign combined traditional Egyptian kingship with complex Roman politics. Her defeat and death marked the end of the pharaonic era and the transformation of Egypt into a province of the Roman Empire.